Hello and welcome to this tutorial for users of Microsoft Excel. This tutorial is recorded using Excel 2010, but everything you see here is applicable to every version of Excel from 2007 right up to 2019. In this tutorial we're going to be looking at sorting and filtering data in Excel. Now if I need to sort any information on a table, a very common thing you need to do is a simple matter of click in the appropriate column and apply the sort. So let's say, for example, I want to sort my list by the movie title. All I need to do here is click into the column, go to the sort and filter button, and you'll find that in the editing section of the home tab. And when I click on the drop down, the first two options there are sort A to Z, Z to A, so that's ascending or descending. If I click A to Z sort, you'll see I get Casablanca at the top, and if I scroll down we get Way Out West at the bottom. And if I want to reverse that order, go back to the sort and filter option, choose Z to A, and it sorts in reverse order. So that's a pretty simple way of sorting information very quickly on a single column. Now one thing to always keep in mind if you want to recover the original layout of the table is to have a column that's numbered, and in this case I have my sale code column. And so if I want to get back to the original layout, all I need to do is click in that column, go back to sort and filter, choose sort smallest to largest or A to Z, and you get the original order back. So always keep that in mind. If you have somebody who comes along and sorts your table, let's say I sort by genre, so click in genre, and we'll sort that A to Z. If that table is saved with that sort applied, next time the table is opened or the file is opened, this sort will be in place. And without some kind of column where you can recover the original sequence of entry, you will never know what the original sequence was. So again, if it happened that I'd opened this table, discovered that somebody had applied a sort and then saved it, click in the sale code column, go to my sort and filter tool, sort smallest to largest, and I'm back where I started. So something to keep in mind when you're building your tables. One thing to be careful of when you're sorting is try not to select data and then apply the sort. As an example of that, if I just select a few of the movies there, so if I select the first 10, and I might be thinking it'd be nice to sort just the first 10 records by title. So I would go to sort and filter, choose A to Z, and we get a warning here, and the warning is telling us that if I continue, in other words choose continue with current selection, all that will happen is that these selected items will be sorted. And if I ignore this warning and say continue with the current selection, click on sort, you will see what happens. So the first two look okay, but apparently Gone with the Wind is now a musical as well as a romance. Singing in the Rain is a suspense film. Some Like It Hot becomes a drama, and Vertigo is a comedy, which I don't think it is. So clearly by sorting those in that way, I've made a complete mess of the table. Now fortunately I haven't saved it, so I can simply click on the undo button, and let's do the same thing. So I'm going to select those same 10 again, go back to sort and filter, choose sort A to Z, and this time I'll accept the warning and expand the selection. And what basically will happen is that Excel will expand the selection to the entire table, so it will be sorted on column B and not just the first 10 records, as you will see. So I'll click on sort, and you'll see the sort has occurred exactly the same as if I'd simply selected a single cell and applied sort. That's just to show you some of the things that can go wrong with sorting. So wherever possible, do not select the data when you apply the sort. Simply click in the relevant column, apply the sort, and Excel will automatically take care of the rest. I'm just going to put the table back in its original order again by clicking in the sale code column, sort A to Z. Now there are many situations where you would like to sort on more than one column, and I'm going to illustrate that. If I click into the area column, go to sort and filter, apply the A to Z sort. So we have our first 12 records here are in the east area of town, and if we go and look at the movies there, you'll see that the movie titles are not in any particular order. So I've got Vertigo at the top, I've also got it as a third record a bit further down as well, and so it makes it difficult for me to look at that particular movie and easily see where the ticket sales are. So I've got to look at 3 different areas. So to fix that problem, I'm going to go to Sort and Filter, and this time come to the third option, Custom Sort. And you'll see there it has already my area values A to Z, which is what I had sorted previously. And now I can add a level of sorting. Click on the drop down arrow, you'll see all my column headings there, and I'm going to choose the movie title. Leave it as values. There are other options which I'll come back to later. And values basically means text or numbers. And again, it can have A to Z, Z to A, or select from a custom list, which I'll look at later in the lesson. Click OK, and you'll see there my area is sorted. And if we come and look at the movie list now, you'll see I have Godfathers all together and Vertigo all together. So it's much easier for me now to look across and then look at the sales, for example. And I could even go ahead and add a third level by going back to Sort and Filter, choose Custom Sort, add a level. This time you'll notice that it's appeared in the middle. If I just click on that, I can move it down, so I can change the sequence of sorting if I want to. But for now I'm going to have area, then movie, and finally I'm going to have ticket quantity. Again, leave it at values. I'm actually going to change it from smallest to largest, so that the largest value is at the top. So click OK again. So we now have area sorted, then movie, and if we look at Vertigo and look across to the ticket quantity, you'll see we have high to low values 18, 14 and 8. Now I'm going to go back to my Sort and Filter option, go to Custom Sort. I want to remove all those sorting levels, so I simply click on the Delete Level button until they're all gone, and then go back and add a level and sort by the screening month. Leave it as values, leave it as A to Z, click OK. And initially it looks okay. We've got December's and then February's and then January's, but that's not quite right, is it? Because December doesn't come before February and February doesn't come before January and so on. So it's sorted it alphabetically, which is not what we want for months. So let's go back to Sort and Filter, Custom Sort, and in the order, instead of A to Z, Z to A, let's go to Custom List. And here you'll see we have January, February, March, April. So if I select that, you'll see the months that we know them as the year goes by. So December comes last and January comes first, which is the way it normally is. Let's click OK and OK again. And now we get the months in the chronological order, which is good. The problem I have is that that is not how my screenings occur. My screenings actually begin in September and continue through to January and February of the following year. So I'd like to have them in chronological order from my screening perspective. And so what I've done, if I go back to Sort and Filter, Custom Sort, and again choose Custom List, what I've done is created a list here. If I click on that bottom one, I've simply typed in the list as it's going to occur for me. So September is the start of my screening and February is the end of my screening season. And if I decided to add a month onto that, I could simply press the Enter key after February and add on March, and I've got an additional month. Even though I have no March screenings, it doesn't matter. So it's a simple matter if you need to create your own particular custom sort order to come into this section, Custom Lists, add a list and type out the sort order that you need. I'm going to click OK there, click OK, and that's exactly as I want it. So now I have my September screenings at the top, followed by October, November, December and ending in February. One final thing I look at in sorting is sorting by colour. I'll just give you one example. You'll see in my ticket quantity column some of those entries are red text instead of black text, and that's because I've applied conditional formatting to highlight any value that is 20 or above. So I'd like to sort that list so that my red entries appear at the top. Now obviously because it's a numeric list, I could simply click into that cell, click on Sort and Filter and apply largest to smallest, and all the red values will go to the top anyway. But just to illustrate, I'm going to sort it back on the sale code column. Sort smallest to largest again. We'll go to Sort and Filter, go to Custom Sort, and I'm going to sort on ticket quantity, and instead of values I'm going to select font color. When I do that, you get different options here. So order, I'm going to click on the drop down and select red. And finally I have the option of either having those items appear at the bottom of the list or on top. I'm going to have it as on top. Click OK, and you'll see that my red entries come to the top. But you'll also notice that they're not in numerical order. So for example, the top one is 25, but a bit further down I have one that's 30. And so one final thing I'll do is go back to my sort and filter options. Again, choose custom sort. Let's this time copy that level. And so ticket quantity is fine. Instead of font color, let's choose values, and let's choose largest to smallest, so the high values appear at the top. Click OK, and there we have our list sorted. So I've applied 2 levels of sorting to that column there. First of all to sort by color, and then to sort by value, high to low. If you're using sorting options quite a lot and you find it inconvenient to go backwards and forwards to the sort button, you can also add shortcut sorting buttons to your quick access toolbar. And if I click on the drop down options there, I can apply a sort ascending button and a sort descending button. So for example, I can now click in my sale code list, simply click on the button at the top there in the quick access toolbar, and that instantly applies a sort for me. So I'm back where I started. The next thing we're going to look at in this lesson is using filters in Excel. And filters are a great way of reducing long lists into short, manageable chunks of information. And to apply a filter, all you need to do is click anywhere into your table, go to the editing section on the home tab, click on the drop down arrow of the sort and filter button, and then simply click on the filter option there. And as soon as you do that, you'll see these little arrows, the drop down arrows appear on each column heading. One thing you will notice is that sometimes they obscure the label of the column. So what I'm going to do here is select all my columns all the way across to column I, and then double click between any of those columns, and that will automatically expand to fit the column content or the label and the filter arrow. Before I begin to use the filters here, I just want to let you know that you can also access the tools from the Data tab, and you'll see we have a section Sort and Filter, where you will find not only the sorting tools that we looked at earlier, but also the filter options that we're going to be using in this lesson. But I'm going to stay on the Home tab, where I can access the filter tools in the editing section. To apply a filter, simply select a column heading. In this case I'll choose the movie column heading and click on the arrow for the filter, and you'll see down here we have all the movies with checkboxes next to them. So what I'm going to do is go back up to the top and take the check out of the select all box, and I'll just put a tick into the Singing in the Rain box. Click OK, and immediately you'll see the list has been filtered down to show just that movie. And you'll also see there is a difference between a column with a filter applied and a column without a filter applied, so you can quickly identify where the filters are active. To remove that filter, simply click on the drop down arrow again, and you'll see there the option Clear Filter from Movie. Just click on that and the full list reappears. You can also apply multiple filters across the table. So let's say we want to first of all filter on our genre, and we're going to select comedy. So I'll take the tick out of the select all, tick comedy, click OK. So that's my first filter. I'm also going to click on the drop down for the movie and just choose Some Like It Hot. I can actually just take the tick out of Way Out West, and that leaves the one I want, Some Like It Hot. And finally I might want to filter by my salespeople. So again, if I click on the drop down there, and I can just take the tick out of the ones that I don't want to see, in this case Carol and Jane, leaving Lisa, click OK, and so I can see everything that Lisa sold related to Some Like It Hot. When you have multiple filters applied, you don't really want to go through them one by one to remove the filter. To remove lots of filters, you simply go to the Sort and Filter button and choose the Clear option here, and that will automatically remove all the filters that are active on the table. I'll show you a couple more examples. Let's say we have a call from a customer and he wants to watch a drama in the north of the town, so we're going to click on the area option. Let's just filter that down just to north, and filter our genre down to drama, and then we can tell the customer we have one film that fits his description or that fits what he's looking for. Let's remove that filter, click on the Sort and Filter drop down, Clear. Let's say we have another inquiry, somebody who lives in the west of the town, so again just remove the Select All check, tick on the west, click OK, and he wants to know if there are any musicals showing in his part of the town. So click on genre, remove the select all, choose musical, click OK, and we can tell that customer that Singing in the Rain is showing in their area in November. Okay, so let's go back and clear that again. So again, just click the drop down, choose clear, and we have the full list of items again. Up till now we've been picking specific items from lists, and what I'm going to do now is show you some alternative ways of applying filters. If I click on the genre drop down there, you'll see we have this option, text filters, and you'll see the options we have here: equals, begins with, contains. I'm going to select does not equal, and you see we get this custom auto filter dialog, and does not equal is present in the box already. There are a number of different options here, we'll look at some of those later, but I'm going to type in the word comedy. So what I'm doing basically is excluding comedy from my results. When I click OK, you'll see we get all the genres apart from comedy listed. So I'll just clear that filter. Let's go to the movie drop down now, and let's say we're looking for films beginning with the letter S. So if I come to text filters, I can choose begins with, just type the letter S, click OK, and those are all the movies that we're showing that begin with S. You can also combine filter searches within a column. So if we go back to the movie first of all, I'll just clear the filter to start with, go back to that list again, come to text filters, and I'm going to come all the way down to custom filter. So in the first option I'm going to choose something that begins with, if you can find that, just scroll down, begins with is there, and I'm going to type in CAS, and I'm going to tick the OR box there, and I like anything also that contains, so scroll right down, there's contains the word star. If I click OK, you will see we get Star Wars and Casablanca, because those are the two movies that fit the criteria that's been set. So you can see there's quite a wide range of options when it comes to filtering. So you can apply filters on multiple columns, and you can apply more than one filter type on a single column should you need to do that. Again, I'll just remove that filter from the movie column, and let's look at using filters on our numeric column. So if I click on the drop down for tickets quantity, you'll see instead of having text filters we have number filters. And here we have equals to, greater than, less than, etc. But I'm going to just click on the top 10 option, show you what that does. And I can obviously change from top to bottom if I choose. I'll leave it on top. I can also type in the value or just use the up and down arrows here to increase or decrease the number. I'll leave it at top 10. And I also have the option of changing from items to % if I want to. Again, I'll leave that at items, so absolute values. Click OK. And there's my top 10 values. They're not sorted in any particular way, so I can also maybe go back to the sort option and choose to sort large to small. So there we see the highest at the top and obviously the lowest at the bottom. And just one more example, if I go back to the drop down filter there, let's just clear that filter, that's top 10. Again, go back, choose number filters, and this time go to greater than, and there we have is greater than. If you want to change it in the auto filter dialog, of course you can select any of the options from the drop down there. I'll leave is greater than, and I'll simply type in 15. Incidentally, you can also click the drop down here and select any of the values in the list if you want to do that. Again, I'll just leave it at 15, click OK, and there's my list filter to only show values above the number 15. Again, right now it's not sorted, so one more thing I might choose to do is just go back to my sort options, large to small, and there's my sorted list. And I might also want to filter on my total sale column. If I click on the drop down arrow, go to number filters, come down to top 10, and this time I'm going to choose top 10% and then click OK. And there we have the values that represent the top 10% of my sales. Now once you've finished all your filtering, you might decide you no longer want the filter arrows. So in this case, all I need to do is go back to the sort and filter dialog and simply click the filter button, and those filters are removed. Of course, I've got the problem that the table is still in the last sorted state. So again, click into my first column and go back to sort and filter, sort small to large, and there's the table back right where we started. That completes this look at sorting and filtering data in Excel. I hope you found some of the things you saw here useful and you can apply them to the tables that you're working on. But in the meantime, thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.